Hi, Tom here and welcome to this week's Circle Line Art School video, how to draw a harbour view in one-point perspective. The first step is to draw our horizontal line and then to draw a cross for the vanishing point on the right. Next we can draw a rectangle for the first house. Make sure the horizon line goes through the middle of the rectangle. In one-point perspective, all parallel lines going away from us will look like they meet at our vanishing point. Now for the back of the house, we can just copy the vertical line from the front and use the same angle for the front triangle of the roof for the back of the roof. Next we can draw a bigger rectangle behind for another house or maybe a warehouse. And again, we can add a triangle for the roof and use the same one-point vanishing point to find the sides of this new warehouse. We can repeat this process one more time for another building behind the other two buildings, all in one-point perspective. To make these buildings look like they are on a harbour, we need to make a path around them using the vanishing point for the diagonal line and just horizontal lines for the other parts of the path. To give the harbour wall a thickness, we just need to add some vertical lines at its corners, going downwards. On the left here, we could add a square in perspective. It will make the harbour look more solid, I think, and it will be in front of the building, so this cube will make the buildings look further away because now we have something in front of them. So visually it will push them back, make them look like they're further away. Next we can draw a waterline, the base of the harbour wall. Next we can erase a few lines that we no longer need. For this drawing I'm using a 4B pencil on quite thick paper, as I think I might add some colour or maybe even watercolour to the image at the end. On the right here we could draw a series of 3 houses, the fronts of 3 houses. We could add windows and doors to these fronts of houses. We're just drawing the fronts because we can't see the sides of these ones, so there's no perspective needed because one-point perspective really is most useful for roads going away from us and for sides of buildings and sides of things going away from us. But if the shape isn't going away from us, it's at the same distance to us, then it doesn't really have perspective. We don't need to use perspective. As these are old buildings, we could add some chimneys to them at this stage too. Next, let's draw a small boat. I'll use the vanishing point for the left-hand diagonal side of this boat, and then just 2 parallel lines and a point to make the whole boat. And then we just need to draw a copy of this shape to give it the reflection in the water. Using the vanishing point we could draw another similar shaped rowing boat, this time going away from us over here. So its 2 sides are going away from us and they are in line with the building, so they're going towards our vanishing point, just to make the drawing easy. The back of the boat is just a rectangle and the front just a point, as we're looking straight at it. Now we can read the lines of the houses that we are drawing, read the lines down to give an indication of their reflection in the water. Next, on the left in this drawing, we could draw two horizontal lines for the, as it were, the other side of the harbour. In front of these lines, we can draw a larger boat. Again, as we're looking straight at this boat, we don't need to draw it in perspective, as the lines of it aren't going away from us. Now we can add some more reflections to the boat and the harbour. We could add a cabin on the boat, and I think I'll add two masts to this boat, just vertical lines going up. Behind the boat we could draw another warehouse using the same one single vanishing point for the side of the building. We could add a wall on the left here, and then one or two more houses around here, again using the vanishing point for the sides of the buildings and the sides of the roof. But any part of the building that's looking straight on us, that just stays a rectangle or a triangle. Next we could draw some people, just very simple indications of people really. They're very far away, so we don't need to add any details. I think I'll draw some ladders so that people can get from the harbour road to the boats below. Now, behind the harbour houses we could add some steep lines for the edges of hills that surround the harbour. We could draw one on the left and then another one along here on the right, with just a few indications of rocks. We could add a wider door here, and we should add some more small windows at this stage, using the vanishing point only if we're looking at the sides of the windows or the sides of the doors. If we're looking straight on at them, they just need to be rectangles. Next we can add some tone. So I'm using a 4B pencil, and I'm going to start with the darkest tone and shade that in. And then I can add some mid-tone, sort of not very dark and not very light, somewhere in the middle, and use that to create a sense of depth to the buildings by putting it just on one side of the buildings, so it creates a sense of light coming from one direction. we could add some more shading to the water and the reflections in the water. Once your drawing works all together, it looks sort of okay, and then it's finished, unless you want to push it more. So I think for my drawing, I'll add some colour on top of this drawing. I'll use watercolour, but you could use any colour material that you have. For this drawing, I'll start with blocking in the sky, not too strong a colour, but just something quite pale. Next, I'll add some yellow and orange to some of the boats. Now I'll put a wet wash of watercolour onto the buildings and their reflections. To finish this drawing, I'll just paint some lines in the water of the harbour to indicate the water and the reflections. Thank you very much for watching this drawing. I hope you find these drawings useful for your own drawing. I post a new drawing every Saturday. Please subscribe to Circle Line Art School to keep up to date. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.